That's the sound of really amazing things inside this box. This is the Model F SSK edition. It's been updated a little bit for 2024. Okay, a lot actually. And this is my favorite keyboard of all time. I've literally spent thousands of dollars buying these from the Model F Keyboards website, and I want to share this one with you. So included in the box are some spare keys, or this is the spare key set. So you've got a cursor key and some other keycaps and some extra Model F style springs. It has cork feet, which is very reminiscent of the cork feet that came on IBM PC XT cases. And the metal case on the top is styled exactly like the old school Model M's. This is the original Model F SSK that I ordered years ago, before the case was ready. It's rubber feet. I mean, this is okay. The controller has some quirks. It tries to learn the capacitance of the keys, and so sometimes you get a stuck key, especially when the computer wakes from sleep. That is resolvable with fiddling with the software and blah blah blah. This was 23. Oh, this was like 18 months ago. So the video from this was roughly 18 months ago, but it was a machined top, and so like the keys didn't really, the machine top doesn't, the curvature of the keyboard didn't really follow 100%, and one of my keys got a little stuck on the housing, but I fixed that by just, you know, tightening and loosening the screws. It was fine. It was completely fine. Again, been using this continuously, very satisfied with this. It is a key switch unlike any other, I promise you. This keyboard also has the distinction of having been my daily driver for more than a decade. This is the Japanese Track Point 2. This is a Model M. This is a different key switch style. The clicking is a little more muted, but the Japanese layout gives you some extra keys that you could bind to things, and it's got the Euro style enter. It's okay. This is not an SSK because it's got the numeric keypad, but it's still pretty compact. You know, Model M's, regular Model M's are quite a bit larger. And so I liked that this didn't take up quite as much room on the desk, but it was still a keyboard with some heft. It also had a built-in track point, which I never really used, but okay. I managed to shed the little eraser head for it. You can actually 3D print new heads, I just never have. And then you have the tiny stubby spacebar because you got all the extra keys. I never actually used it in Japanese. I don't know Japanese, but that is a thing. Now, let's talk software improvements. The old QMK is gone, not even an option on the new keyboards anymore. The firmware is now exclusively Vial, V-I-A-L. You don't have to load any configuration file. You can actually use a Chrome-based browser to reprogram it over the internet because it's WebGadget compatible. I almost ordered the 104 key variety because it is, you know, but I really like the SSKs. I have quite the collection of SSKs, as a matter of fact, including the ultra rare blue industrial one. Although I need more than one of that one because the one that I have was used in an industrial scenario. It's not new. It's not in good shape. These Model F keyboards do support in-key rollover by default, although it is disabled by default because sometimes people like me are using them with things that don't support in-key rollover properly. But you can do in-key rollover with Vial. Current factory function keys are set. Hold down function and spacebar and T to toggle the solenoid on and off. You can increase or decrease the solenoid dwell time with keyboard shortcuts. You can also do E for EEPROM reset, R for reset, and D for debug. Basically, you can enter the bootloader with R. You can also hold down the function keys, and function escape is power to turn your computer on. F1 is brightness down, F2 is brightness up, F6 is media stop, F7 is media previous, F8 is media play, F9 is media next, F10 is media mute, F11 is volume down, F12 is volume up, and function print screen is eject. Now wait a minute, did he say solenoid? I did. Do you have questions about solenoids? Let's chat. Okay, so this is a little bit of a history lesson time. This is a 3270 display writer keyboard, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's from a long time ago. This is older than I am by a lot. This is what's called a beam spring key. This is like a second or third generation beam spring key. And this keyboard is thick, not for any other reason other than the mechanism really needs this much room to move around. That kind of keyboard is what was used for terminal keyboards. It gave rise to the Model F, which shipped with the IBM PC. x86, this is where x86 enters the picture. Those were not used on x86 computers, generally. Except for some bizarro weirdo edge cases, no x86 for those. But this is starting to resemble a modern mechanical keyboard in the modern mechanical keyboard layout. The layout of the other keyboard is more similar to the physical key layout of this keyboard. Notice that we don't even have any inverted T arrow keys in this. We've only got 10 function keys, not 12. This is the original keyboard layout that shipped with the IBM PC XT, PC Junior, a couple other keyboard layouts very similar to that display rider, very similar to 3270, very similar to IBM mainframes. But that mechanism is what has so faithfully been reproduced. But none of these keyboards are powered. There's another component, the solenoid. You see, when IBM released the 3270 keyboard, there was a concern that maybe it didn't feel enough like a mechanical teletype. And so IBM in their designs provided for a solenoid, which is an electromagnetic thunk machine. Basically, it just physically moves back and forth. And so that was an option on this style keyboard in hardware, although not actually implemented mostly. You can order a modern beam spring keyboard. Guess what? Same guy makes these. I reviewed this separately. This is a modern implementation of the beam spring keys, which is very faithful. But this mechanism is also problematic if you're a fast typer. 120 WPM plus on this type of a key, little bit of a problem. The keys will want to stick just a little bit. You have to learn how to do touch typing properly. But this also supports a solenoid. This also supports a solenoid. And this is where things are a little bit of a departure when we're talking history. This is a more modern layout. Look at the inverted T arrow. This showed up with the 286. This is the Model M style keyboard. But keep in mind, this is the older style switches, the Model F style switches. IBM was so worried about accidentally introducing something, like they kept lowering and lowering and lowering the manufacturing bar, thinking that consumers would revolt. Boy, what halcyon times those must have been. That, it didn't actually work out that way. And so IBM, being worried about the clickiness, and that Model F keyboard made provisions for it to be extra clicky. And the 3270 display rider keyboards, a lot of the time the solenoid was on by default, so thunk, thunk, thunk. Now this is what it sounds like without the solenoid. Very faithful buckling spring reproduction. But give this guy some power. What was that unsettling sound that my keyboard made? Also, if you're in a workplace where it lets you order your own keyboards, this would be a great office prank because you can turn it off in software. Sounds just like a teletype, doesn't it? That's because it's designed to feel like a teletype as well, or some of those old, really insane machines. There's an electromagnet in it that is literally moving a piece of metal, and the dwell time and the other configuration options for the solenoid control how hard it thunks, how long it thunks, exactly what the feel is. And because it's implemented in hardware, it doesn't have to go to the computer and back to be controlled by software. It's more or less instantaneous, so that you don't have the software delay of US, because USB is not fabulous in a lot of regards, and that one especially. So you feel the tactile buckling spring, but also solenoid? No solenoid. Solenoid. And there you have it. You know all about solenoids and mechanical keyboards. You didn't know you needed it, and now you do. This is the keyboard that's going to carry me well into retirement, well into the old folks' home. Probably they're going to bury me with it, because I just love the way that the keys click. And also, I'm a crazy person. I don't know. I'm one of those level 1. This is Dog Shop on Keyboards. I'm hanging out in the forum. I'm signing out, and I'll see you there.